in. So I am Daisha Banner, and I am formerly of Toasted Up, but I recently started a new solo venture. So I am now working as a glass above, and we are a mobile mixology. Thank you. We are a mobile mixology and bartending service. And we do custom cocktails and mocktails for event-based services. Again, we do those in person and of course virtually now. Since COVID has allowed us this wonderful platform to be able to connect with you guys virtually, we are still doing events. They're just smaller in nature. If they're in person, we do go based on the guidelines of the governor. But we certainly do these virtual. So if there's ever an opportunity or a desire to have one of these of your own, we can certainly do that. Today we are going to do more of a Christmas cocktail. So it has a little bit, it's a little different. So it gives you a little bit of Christmas, a little bit of fall, because we're moving away from the summer flavors. And so we're moving more into the fall flavors. So we have, first we're going to start with our ingredients. So the first is a vanilla vodka. So I'll pull this around so you guys can see that. So the first ingredient is a vanilla vodka. We also have a key lime cream liqueur. So this kind, again, it's a little different, but gives you more of a Christmassy feel and a fall feel. We have a little limeade here as well, some sweet lime juice. And for those who do not drink, we'll move that over to a Sprite or lemon lime soda, as well as some creamer. And this is the actual sugar, frosted sugar cookie. So it'll give you a little bit of cream, but you'll add your lemon to that as well. So you'll still get that same flavor from the cream of the key lime cream. So before I start, are there any questions about bartending or me or anything like that before I get started into the actual making of the cocktail?
So I have a silly question.
Yes.
So sometimes when I'm at a bar and the bartender's making a drink, he has like a shot glass measuring thing that's got a smaller top part and a larger top part. And
yeah, it's called a jigger. And that's what this is.
And do you have to own one of
like a measuring tool? So if I were a teacher, I would have a ruler. If I'm not a teacher, so this is what we use.
You are a teacher. I hate to tell you.
But I am a teacher, you're right. In a different capacity, but yes, it's called a jigger. And this is kind of our measuring tool. So one end, on this one, the actual bottom end is an ounce. And then the top is 2 ounces. But they come in different sizes. So some of them have ½ an ounce on the bottom or 1½ on the top. It just depends on the measure of the one that you actually utilize. Because I have some different ones as well. I have some shorter ones too. So like when I do classes, so this one is actually 1/4 of an ounce on the bottom and then an ounce on the top.
Oh.
Yeah, great question. Any other questions?
What can you use in the house if you don't have a jigger?
So you can actually use, if you have a shot glass, and I'll show you. If you have a regular shot glass, then you can use these as well if you don't have a jigger. Or even the plastic ones, Dollar General or Dollar Tree, they always have those little sets of plastic ones. But if you have any regular shot glasses in your house, these are the same. So it's the same kind of measuring system. It just is not in this form.
Okay.
Good questions. Any other questions?
No, just because I tried to make a recipe somebody sent me named Demi. And all I did is do one shot glass of each thing. And then
you can always put out for a regular shot glass if you don't have a jigger. Or like I said, Dollar Tree always carries those little packets of like 12 or 15 or something inside of those. And that's the same thing that you can use to kind of measure out your contents.
Okay.
And Linda, it's a shot in a glass and a shot to your mouth.
Yeah. My father did a 1 for you, 1 for me drinking strategy so that he ended up at his table.
That's always best.
My dad always says, I want my alcohol to be between the fingers.
That's 4 fingers.
Enough, absolutely.
I used to mix him highballs when I was younger, and he was like, "Yeah, I want a little bit of, 7-Up or whatever, and the alcohol between the fingers."
4 fingers.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. So
Taisha,
with,
Taisha, how did you start doing what you do?
say it again.
How did you start in bartending mixology, and how did your
Yeah,
life
tell
lead you
your
to
story,
this?
girl.
Okay,
I know,
well,
I know your story, but you tell your story.
absolutely. So I started out with bartending. I am a single mom of a now 17-year-old son. And when he was younger, I was looking for opportunities to just generate additional income. And when I was looking to do things, I started seeing friends that were kind of doing bartending. And I felt like that would be something that I could do at night or on weekends because he was pretty active and I didn't want to miss his events, or whether he was in a school thing or doing sports or whatever. I felt like at least with that, I could kind of flex my schedule. I could sign up for things for shifts. I knew I didn't want to be on a calendar or on a schedule consistently because I knew I wanted to move around a little bit for his sake. And so when I started at, I guess it was event planning, is kind of what, because I knew I didn't want to do a club or anything like that. So I started looking into event staffing and started out working for an event staffing agency, and then kind of saw how much money goes into events and how much was actually trickling down to the people who were actually working those events, and was like, there's a discrepancy here. So just started doing small things like weddings, birthday parties. I met up with my former business partner, and we were just thinking, because both of our kids were in sports at that time, so we figured we could kind of team up and do some activities and some events together. Started with small weddings, birthday parties, people that we knew, and it kind of grew from there. Started a website and then just started promoting it heavily. So I took an entire year to just network and find out what was going on in the area, connecting with different event planners, different event hosts, and then just kind of getting the name out, letting everybody know what we did, and then just kind of going from that point. And then when I got into it, I really started doing research around the industry in general and found out how much was actually involved in it. And that kind of lit my fire because there was so much that could be done with it aside from just being in a bar. You could do anything from being an ambassador to learning more, because right now I just received a scholarship, so I'm about to take my WSET 3, which will allow me to learn a little bit more about spirits in general, whether that's wine, whether that's spirits. So all of that information I kind of utilize in my services to kind of share with my clientele, but it kind of started again from just wanting to generate additional income. I had no idea that it would take me here. I'm certainly glad that it did, but kind of starting out, it was just a way to get additional income, and it turned into a passion that I absolutely love. Thank you for asking.
That's great.
Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any other questions?
Are you hiring? Because my husband needs a job.
Are you sure you want to press your husband around
We'll
that, girl?
probably be hiring more post-COVID. Right now, everything is kind of small scale, so it doesn't allow us to do the events in the magnitude that we had anticipated for this year. But definitely, as soon as we are post-COVID, we will definitely be.
Yeah, he's been a bartender for about 30 years. So he's,
So we will teach him and put him to work.
oh yeah, he's got experience. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Any other questions? Okay, ladies. So we're gonna start with the small end of our shaker, and we're just gonna add ice to it, just to get this chilled. And it doesn't matter how much ice; it's just according to your preference. And then we're gonna start with our limeade. So I'm gonna measure this out in the jigger so that you guys can kind of see it. So we're gonna do 2 ounces of this limeade. And then we're gonna do 2 ounces again, just to kind of fill it up because we have a taller glass here. And then we're gonna follow that up with some sweetened lime juice, and you can use roses or any lime juice that you prefer that's a little bit sweetened. And so I'm gonna flip this over, and then we're gonna do 1 ounce of this. And we're also gonna pour that down into our jigger. Now, we're gonna follow that up with, this is a rum cream, but this is the key lime version of that. So we're gonna follow this up with 1.5 ounces of that. And as you see, it'll come out, as you'll see when we're done, it'll come out as a creamier flavor. So you'll see the white from, this is a cream liqueur. And then we are gonna follow that up with some vanilla vodka. And so we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of the vanilla vodka. And then we're gonna put that all into our jigger. We're gonna flip it over, lock it in, and set. We're just gonna mix that together. Because there's a cream liqueur in it, you wanna shake it really good so that it doesn't curdle and separate. So we're just shaking that around a little. And then we're gonna start transferring this to our glass. So I made some little cute ice, some round ice balls here that we'll use inside of our glass. Just to give it a little razzle dazzle. What I'm also gonna do is, I have here some graham crackers. So what I'm gonna do is break these down a little bit and show you how to create a different rim. And I'm just gonna use my muddler here on the other side of it and just break this down a little. And again, that's just to kind of break it down a little bit. And we're gonna use a little bit of this for the rim of our glass. So what you'll see is, and I'm gonna pour these in here in just a second. What you'll see is I'm gonna use a little bit of this syrup, and I'm just gonna pour that on so that we can fancy our rim. Bring this out a little bit so you guys can see it. So I'm basically just going to make sure that my rim goes through.
Can you move to your right a little bit? Yeah, that's good.
And you guys see it? Okay. So I'm just gonna move the rim of my glass through the syrup so that it connects. And then I'm gonna run it through my sugar as well as my graham crackers. So again, it just makes it look a little bit fancier. And more festive, of course.
What is the name of this drink again?
This is the key lime curler. And so you'll see how it looks. And then we're going to drop our ice back in. We're going to take our strainer and put it over top. And we're just going to pour that in. And to this, we will add a little bit of the graham crackers on top, just to give it a little more, and sprinkle a little of our sugar on top as well. And then we will add a little lime, a little fresh lime. And to do that, we're just gonna cut this down into slices. And turn it into a lime wheel. And this is a key lime girl. Can you guys see it?
Oh, it looks
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
And so this is the alcoholic version of this. Now, if you wanted to do a non-alcoholic version, I'll walk you through that as well. So I'm just gonna rinse this out because it does have alcohol in it. So we're gonna go back to our jigger after we drop our ice in. And we're gonna go 4 ounces again of your limeade. And we're gonna drop that in. And drop that in again. And then we'll follow that up with again, flipping it over. And this is non-alcoholic. The lime juice doesn't have any alcohol in it, so you can still use it. So we're gonna drop that in as well. And then for our cream part, to make it similar, we're gonna flip this over and we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of our creamer and drop that down in.
Is that creamer have any flavoring to it?
Say it again.
Does the creamer have any flavor to it?
It does. This flavor is actually frosted sugar cookie. So it again just gives it a little bit of sweetness versus using, you can use a heavy cream if you're staying away from sugar. But this is just a little creamer, gives a little extra sugar. Make it a little sweet to bounce off of our lime. And then we are gonna pop the top on this shaker, if it'll let me have it out. And again, we're going to add our ice cube. And we'll strain it out again.
So the only thing that the strainer does is just keep the ice from falling onto it.
It does, and if we had bottled something like any kind of berries or anything like that that had seeds inside of it, it would keep those inside so that they wouldn't float inside of your drink, if you had a preference or an aversion to that. And then if you notice, I did not add the Sprite to my shaker because we don't want that to generate a combustible. So we'll add our Sprite on the end. And if you want to, you can kind of stir that around to make sure that it goes all the way through. And it gives you the frothy top. And there you have it. The alcoholic and non-alcoholic versions. And again, if you want to decorate them, you certainly may. Any questions about any of these? Anybody like key lime? Good, good. So these, I'll definitely get this recipe over to Wendy so she can send it out to you guys and certainly give it a try.
Okay.
Daisha, where's the easiest place to find the key lime liqueur?
This one is at the ABC store. And this is the blue chair. But they also have like the Kiki as well. Or if you wanted to use that one, but this was just a new one and I saw it in there and just decided wanted to use it. So there's no special rhyme or reason as to why I chose this one, other than it was new and I just wanted to see how it tasted.
Which ABC store did you happen to be in?
I am actually at Apex, so I went to the one that's on 55, right by Food Lion and right across from Aldi's.
Okay.
You know where that is? You know where I'm speaking
Yes.
of? Okay. So
I
yeah,
know
that's
exactly
I
where
got-
you're talking about.
Yeah, it's right up, right before you get to, what is that, High House? The one, the light before that, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it happens to be right on the left-hand side if you're heading
Yeah,
from
right
Aldi,
across
correct?
from Aldi, so that's the one I went to.
Okay, because
There's a,
every,
Advanced Auto or something else right in that same shopping center in the Food Lion.
okay, because the ABC store by me does not have the variety that some of them do. That's why,
Which
that's
one are you
why, that's
closer
why I
to?
asked. South Saunders and Fuquay. I'm
Okay,
between those two.
Okay, okay. Yeah, they do have different things, but yeah, that one is the one I went to actually get this.
Okay, cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, ladies? Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me.
Thank you for coming out and presenting this to us. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.